Hi there everyone, welcome to the Lucy Rose Clinic and this week's Facebook Live. Our topic is how to have a symptom-free perimenopause, bit of a hot topic at the moment. So for those of you who are new here, welcome, and as ever, if you're a regular, welcome back. I'm Shay Murray, one of the naturopaths here at the Lucy Rose Clinic. So this topic that affects nearly every woman midlife, perimenopause, what is it? So it's the transition period that leads up to menopause. So menopause is when you reach a point where you have, as a standard, 12 months of no periods or no menstrual cycle. Perimenopause is the transition up until that time. Now, it can start as early as your mid-30s, and it can take quite a long time to evolve, because that's what's happening. We're evolving as women, okay, into this next stage of our life. And it's nothing to be frightened of. And if you're experiencing severe perimenopause symptoms, there are things you can do to help. So perimenopause is associated with hormonal fluctuations that can impact cycles, mood, sleep, energy, overall well-being. My favorite is always it can have such an impact on your tolerance for stress, which is why you have no patience, yeah? Okay, we've all been there. So the good news is, while these changes are natural, you don't have to suffer through them, and nor should you. So today we're going to discuss how to support your body through perimenopause using evidence-based strategies and a naturopathic approach so you can feel like yourself again. So how perimenopause is defined is by the gradual decline in estrogen and progesterone production. Oh, it was a hard sentence. So unlike menopause, where hormone levels have largely stabilized at lower levels, perimenopause is a time of fluctuation. And that is often why symptoms are unpredictable and ever evolving. But some common symptoms are, and everyone's a little different, hot flashes and night sweats, mood swings, anxiety or low mood, fatigue and low energy, sleep disturbance, irregular cycles or changing cycles, including the lead up to, so how you feel in that premenstrual phase, brain fog, impacted concentration, weight gain, especially around the abdomen. So these changes occur because your ovaries and adrenal glands are adjusting to lower hormone output. Now, as well, because the thyroid, the ovaries, and the adrenals are very closely linked, thyroid function can alter at this point too, and can often become slow or what we would call subclinical hypothyroidism. And that can make symptoms more noticeable. So even if your blood tests look normal, you may still experience symptoms. Standard lab reference ranges often don't reflect optimal hormone levels for your age or your health. And also, sometimes the tests that are available are not set up to catch what we're looking for here. So, for example, estradiol can fluctuate daily, and a single blood test may not capture peaks and troughs. So it might just be a snapshot in time, and it doesn't really show where you're at right now. Progesterone as well can appear normal in a single reading, but depending on where you're at in your cycle, which can be hard to predict, especially if you have like a long-term contraceptive device, that progesterone in the luteal phase can cause mood swings and sleep issues if it's low. It can also create something called relative estrogen excess, which is when progesterone is so low to the body, it feels like there's too much estrogen, and that can cause a different raft of symptoms as well, and often lead to heavier bleeds and things like that. Subclinical thyroid dysfunction is extremely common in perimenopause, and this can worsen fatigue, weight gain, mood changes, and our overall resilience and vitality. So what is the role of thyroid health in perimenopause? Well, a reasonable estimate is 40% of women in midlife, so in their 40s to 50s, have some form of hidden thyroid dysfunction. So this will amplify perimenopause symptoms, including persistent fatigue, here we go, ability to speak, brain fog, weight gain, mood instability, sleep disturbances. Yeah, how well we detox, how well we digest. We might notice increased food intolerances, how well we recover from exercise. All of these things can have an impact on how you feel. So functional thyroid testing is essential, and that is something that we offer here at the Lucy Rose Clinic, and we are one of the only clinics available that have that opportunity for our patients. We do our testing in-house, and we can look at all of the things that are relevant. So this includes TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, thyroid antibodies for autoimmune system, and we also look at different inflammation markers, and we look at different readings for adrenal and sex hormones. So addressing thyroid imbalance alongside reproductive hormones is crucial because the thyroid governs all those other hormones, right? So if you just look at your hormones and just try and do something for those, then you're not really getting to the root of the problem, because if the thyroid function is affected, that has to be addressed as well. So while hormone therapy is helpful for some, it doesn't work for everyone, and sometimes a naturopathic approach, whether you're taking hormone therapy or not, can provide tools to support your body naturally, to optimize hormone balance, reduce your symptoms, and also I think give you a feeling of empowerment over your body again, okay? Help deepen your understanding how your body works, what it's going through, and how you can make it feel more like you again. So nutrition is a really big part. Balanced meals, protein, healthy fats, fiber, we need all of this to stabilize our blood sugar and our appetite and hormone metabolism. And one of the things is when we are stressed and we have thyroid issues and we're out of balance, we often don't feel like eating, and we often don't meet our requirements. You know, food is medicine. Phytoestrogens, so things like soy, flax, legumes can help with estrogen balance. Anti-inflammatory foods can reduce hot flashes, mood swings, and support better quality sleep. Lifestyle, so regular movement is essential, right? So regular movement improves metabolism all across the body, mood, bone density. It's not so important what you do or how long you do it for, as long as you're showing up each day for that activity. Sleep hygiene is essential. We shortchange ourselves on sleep all the time. Women need like 8 hours minimum, 10 preferably, and I can see you all laughing at that. I can hear the laughing from here. But we need to prioritize sleep. We need to prioritize rest and recovery. It is essential for our body to continue to thrive. So sleep hygiene are the behaviors around what we do before bed to ensure our body's sleep signals are activated and we can actually fall asleep and have a restful sleep. Wouldn't that be nice? Stress reduction, so mindfulness, yoga, breath work, all of these help cortisol balance, and cortisol, what our cortisol is doing will affect what our sex hormones are doing if we're living on cortisol all the time, and adrenaline, which we do because we don't sleep enough. Okay, we're constantly pushing through, we're busy. So supporting rest and recovery. And, you know, breath work sounds silly, like we all know how to breathe, right? We're all standing here breathing, but it is the importance of proper deep breath work to signal to the body that we can relax, okay? Instead of that upper chest breathing, which is survival breathing, all right? Herbal and nutritional support. So this is where naturopathic interpretation of your symptoms and your pathologies and your functional testing, we can help you with the right adaptogens, the right additional nutrients like B vitamins, magnesium, you know, whether you need omega-3 fatty acids and what kind are good for mood and inflammation. There are so many options out there. You know, every reel, every ad, everywhere you go, there seems to be a new range of supplements or a new this or a new that, promising this, promising that. But how do you know it's for you? How do you know it's good quality? How do you know you need it? How do you know how to take it? And that is where, with that mammoth information overload that we deal with on a daily basis, that is where professional support and interpretation can really help you thrive, really help you make the right choices for you, because you're an individual. Yeah, we are not all identical. And functional testing, it gives you answers. Yeah, it gives you thorough investigative biochemistry analysis of who you are and what's going on with your body right now. So comprehensive hormone panels, comprehensive thyroid evaluation, metabolic, inflammation, adrenal markers. We can even have a look at what your gut microbiome is doing. So functional testing is broad spectrum. We're not just looking for the presence or absence of disease. We're looking for, if your body theoretically has what it needs to thrive, why are you experiencing the symptoms that you are? What is imbalanced? What is missing? What are the missing puzzle pieces? So functional testing helps naturopaths create personalized intervention for you, the individual, rather than just guessing what might work. Yeah. So let's look at how this works in practice. So we have a woman in her mid-40s struggling with night sweats, anxiety, and fatigue. So functional testing reveals low luteal phase progesterone and borderline hypothyroidism. So nutrition, targeted herbal support, and thyroid optimization improve her energy and sleep in weeks. Another woman has hot flashes and irregular cycles, but normal standard labs. So functional testing will show in a case like that whether there is an adrenal or an insulin imbalance, with which naturopathic strategies, including stress management, blood sugar regulation, and herbal intervention, will address successfully. So we see a lot of that in practice. They're two very similar presentations that we would deal with, where on the surface they might kind of look similar, but actually the underlying biochemistry is completely different, other than the fact that the thyroid is involved in both of those cases, and declining ovary function would be present in both of those cases as well. However, everything else is different. Okay, different lifestyle impacts, different needs, different demands. We're all beautifully unique, so you all deserve a beautifully unique, tailored approach. So, you know, even before testing though, there are practical strategies that can help prepare you for health and vitality. Is a journey, all right? It's going to keep evolving. So keeping a symptom journal of things like your cycle, your energy, your mood, your sleep, your diet. Prioritize your protein, your fiber, and your hydration throughout the day. Make sure you're eating enough and you're eating good whole food, right? Trash that processed food. It's not doing you any favors. Schedule regular movement that combines strength and cardiovascular exercise, of course. Strength resistance training is really important in perimenopause. It is crucial. Stretching, walking, relaxation techniques, these are all important for overall balance and mood, but we need to literally support our body's framework, and that means resistance training a couple of times a week. Yeah. And that's something else we can look at. If we've got a real sense of your adrenal function, then we can also help you navigate what kind of exercise you should be doing that's going to enliven you, not deplete you further. Okay. Where were we? Incorporating mindfulness and meditation, essential. How else do we process these huge lives that we lead? And then, of course, anti-inflammatory foods and supporting our gut health, something we can do too, because that's quite a broad spectrum phase. Our gut is necessary for protection, for immune function, for hormone conversion, for uptaking nutrients, for getting rid of toxins, so your liver doesn't have to do absolutely everything. You know, these are all really important, and we can help with this. So these kinds of strategies will help stabilize hormones and reduce perimenopause discomfort. So there's a lot there, all right? So if that sounds interesting to you, if this sounds like the kind of approach that you've been looking for, then please, you know, first of all, start your symptom diary, book in for a complimentary call. There should be a QR code for you to scan where you can book in for a complimentary discussion with a Lizzie Rose representative and get a better understanding of how it all works. And, you know, thank you for joining me today. Perimenopause doesn't have to mean years of suffering. with support, with the right support, with a holistic approach, targeted lifestyle strategies, knowing what you're dealing with at the get-go with functional testing, you can navigate this transition with energy, mood stability, and vitality. And see you next week. We're going to be doing a deep dive into testing and lab insights. We're going to talk a bit more about like the hidden signs or the hidden realities of thyroid dysfunction. So tune in next week for that one if that's of interest. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, keep breathing, keep moving, and keep living with grace and light. All right, see you.